All right, welcome back for part 2 of our Honors Geometry video series. In part 2 here, we're going to talk about assumptions that we can and cannot make. So a quick note that we can't assume necessarily that supplementary angles always form a straight line. We can't always assume things that are not given to us, like here. Couldn't assume that the line, I shouldn't say that. We can't assume that GHJ is a straight line because it's not given. Now on part 2 here, we can assume a 90-degree angle because that is perpendicular. It's given to us. So I have two equations. I have x and I have y, and both of these sets equal 90. So I could say 4y minus 2 is 90. I could also say 7x plus 6 is 90. And I could solve from there. I can assume this because it's given in the directions. It's very important that you read those directions and that we don't assume things that we are not given. Okay. I'm going to go down to our last 6 problems for the day. These are our angle addition problems, where I'm adding up the two smaller parts to get the whole. Now I'm going to ask you to pause the video and try A and B on your own, and then unpause and check your work when you're ready. So A, I've got these two angles, and together they make 117. That's the whole FHG. So I could combine these and say 23x minus 2 equals 117, and I could solve there. You will get a decimal. You'll get that 119 over 23, which is like 5.18. And B is where we begin using our key vocabulary words to solve problems. Like here, XZ is bisecting. Well, what does bisect mean? It means to cut in half. And I have this symbol here that tells me that that's 90. So I can assume that I cut 90 in half to get 45 and 45. And now if this stuff equals 45 and it equals 7x minus 4, then I could set up one equation, and I could also set up an equation for y. And again, pause the video at any point, try the problems first, and then if you have questions or you need a little bit of help to get started, unpause and check your work. All right, let's look at C. It is a straight angle. Now, we weren't able to assume this when it wasn't given, but now that it is given, I can assume 180. KLM is 5 less than 17 times my unknown. So I can put my unknown on the left, and I can put 17x 17 times, and then 5 less than that. And I can set up my equation and solve. I get 18x minus 5 equals 180. And I believe I get a decimal for that one. Now D, just like E, we could assume, or C, we could assume straight lines 180 because it says straight angle. D, we can assume complementary. We can assume these add to 90. So look at your definition. Complementary means that they add to 90. So I can say that these two things add to 90, which means I could write 13x plus 89 minus 5x equals 180. Or not 180, I'm sorry, 90, complementary. And you should get x is 1/8, or 0.125. Now on E, I'm given two parts, but I have to read the directions to get the whole. So now when I'm solving for E, I have to combine the two parts here to get the whole of 13x plus 11. And I could solve there. And our last one, straight angle. I would really pause the video and try this one first on your own. Straight angle, straight line. Bisected. What does that mean? It means cut in half. So cut that in half, you get 90 and 90. And then it says each of those two smaller resulting angles is cut in half or bisected. So now I'm cutting the 90s in half to get 45 degrees. And it says each of those is also 2x. And from there I can set up my equation to get x. Let me know what questions you have, and I will see you soon.